Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Daze and welcome to this weirdest wrestling figures ever video. This is such a big subject. I don't think I really thought it through. I really feel like I need some help here. I feel like that most of the time actually. Andy? Are you there?
I'm here, Daze.
Andy, that's amazing, guys. It's Andy from Wrestle with Andy, a fantastic YouTube channel that I'm a big fan of. Andy, I need some help. I'm in too deep. I've messed this up. There's no way I can cover this subject on my own. Can you give me a hand, please?
Of course I can, Daze. Anything for you. I love weird wrestling merchandise and I've already got a few really weird wrestling figures in mind that I know you're gonna love.
Ah, that's amazing. Thank you so much. Okay, how about this? I'll pick 5 figures, you pick 5 figures, and then we'll go head to head, top trump style. How about that? I'm going to start things off. Nice and gentle, give you a chance, right? But I'm going to start off with the Billy Graham Classic Superstars figure. This is black and white, right? It's really weird. I mean, that's the whole point of it. But it's really weird because this is a black and white figure. They've made it look like what he would have looked like on a black and white TV. It's a limited edition. There was only 3,000 made. Don't get me wrong. I love this figure. I genuinely love this figure. I love the legends. I love the fact they've done something a little bit different. But this was the only figure that they had done this way at the time. This was the first black and white figure. So no figure is going to match this. This is really going to look odd on your shelf. It's going to stand out. I mean, I love it. Don't get me wrong, I want one. But it is weird. It is weird. They didn't make a series of them. They just released this on its own as a limited edition. But that's what I'm going to start the ball rolling with. Black and white Superstar Billy Graham. What you got, Andy?
Strong start, Daze, with a Billy Graham black and white figure. That is one of the weirdest pieces of wrestling merchandise, let alone figures, I have ever seen in my life. However, I've got one for you right here. WrestleMania 22 Shawn Michaels figure where he is dressed as, wait for it, Hulk Hogan. I mean, I think this may be the only time in history WWE have released a figure dressed as another figure. The figure was based upon a promo Shawn cut on Hulk Hogan leading up to our matchup at SummerSlam 2005. It makes me laugh every time I see it online. I've got to get my hands on one of these figures in real life one of these days, add it to my collection and see what it's like in real life in the plastic. So Daze, that's my first pick. What have you got next? Let's see what you've got.
Whoa, okay. I didn't realise that we were going to be bringing out some big guns straight away. If we're going to be fighting that way, right, then I'm going to have to step it up. Let's go for Managers Series 1. This is Sable and Mark Mero. Look at that Mark Mero figure. It is crazed. That is honestly the last thing I see when I close my eyes and go to sleep. That Mark Mero staring at... It is terrifying. It is beyond terrifying. He is... I know he was the wild man, Mark Mero. They have absolutely captured that. I do like that Sable figure though. Gotta give that a shout out. She looks classy. But that Mark Mero figure, he is crazed. I'm not sure Mattel have ever made a figure that has got to that level of madness. So Jakks really setting a high bar there. What you got there, Andy? Come on, bring it on. I'm ready for you.
That's it, Daze. I can't believe you done it. You pulled out the Mark Mero figure. I mean, I'd just about forgotten about it. I've been in therapy over it for the past 15 years. I've just gotten it out of my mind about a month ago, and you bring it up again. I'm going to have to do it, Daze. I'm sorry. I'm pulling out the big dog. I'm pulling out what may be the craziest, the scariest, the weirdest professional wrestling figure of all time. And this one, I've even got a physical figure of to show you what it looks like in real life. That's right, guys, take a look at this. Maximum Sweat Kane figure with a removable mask. This has got to be top to bottom, probably the weirdest wrestling figure in the history of the game. Look at it, it is absolutely bizarre. And believe it or not, they actually done an entire series of these maximum sweat figures back in the Attitude Era, and the entire gimmick of them was that you would fill up each figure with a bottle of water so they would sweat real life sweat. Now, look at Kane's face underneath the mask. Now bear in mind, this was before Kane had unmasked in real life on WWE programming, so this was actually the first time we had ever seen Kane without his mask, and it was on a wrestling figure. And to be honest with you, I'm almost certain that is just a mould of the Undertaker's face put on Kane's body. Now this one, between the sweat, the face, the shape, the size, the composition of the body, everything, this one may very well be the weirdest wrestling figure of all time. Now let me see what you've got next, Daze. I'd like to see you top that one.
Right, okay, I'm gonna have to step this up. Okay, I'm going to have to go even bigger. Let's have a look at a whole series. Have you ever dreamed of owning a Brock Lesnar with 4 arms? Of course you have. How about a Sting that's got an actual tail and a sting on the end? Of course you have. How about a John Cena in silver that's wearing red and blue wristbands and has got a gold belt? Of course you have. Well, your luck is in because they made those figures. WWE Mutants from Mattel. We're going back only a couple of years ago. Some of these figures were amazing. The Brock Lesnar that we mentioned, I thought was pretty cool. They did a great Finn Balor where the tongue was coming out of the chest. They also made like a Bray Wyatt, but some of them were questionable, like the John Cena, like Stardust. I mean, by this point, Stardust had actually left WWE, and he had like an extra big forehead, he had big hands, and he wasn't even competing. It's weird. The whole thing was weird. What you got, Andy? What you got that can beat that?
Daze, you had to do it. You had to go and pull out an entire series of weird wrestling figures. I mean, how am I going to beat that? How am I going to beat an entire series? I mean, the only way I'm going to be able to beat an entire series is with multiple entire series, maybe 2 entire series. And do you know what? I think I've got it. I think I know exactly what I'm pulling out for my next pick. WWE Turtles. And you know what, Daze, I know you know how weird these figures are because you've made videos on them yourself and I've watched every last one of them. I just love how weird these Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles WWE collab figures are. And in particular, Series 2, where you've got The Rock, The Ultimate Warrior, Finn Balor, and even my fellow Scot, even though he's really Canadian but he's kind of Scottish, Rowdy Roddy Piper. I mean, look at the accessories they come with, look at the features, they're like a weird hybrid of WWE and Turtles, both worlds colliding. It's got to be the craziest thing. I mean, I thought that Kane Maximum Sweat figure I pulled out was crazy, and then you pull out an entire series, and now I've got to pull out this. I mean, I don't know how we're going to continue topping this, but we're going to have to see what we've got. Daze, can you top this right now? Let's see what you've got.
I'm losing this. I'm losing this. Right, I'm going to have to go. I'm going to have to bring out the big guns. I'm going to have to bring out the ones that I was saving for a rainy day because it is pouring right now. How about Stomp figures? Let's have a look at these Jakks Stomp figures. This is Special Tactical Operation Military Police. Why do I remember that? These are Stomp figures. They made 3 series of these. The first ones were actually alright. You got an alright looking wrestler, but then you just got these accessories, these like police accessories, military accessories, but then things went weird because In Series 2, they took them and put them underwater. I think they were called Underwater Siege. And then in Series 3, they took them into outer space. The outer space ones are crazy. All of them are wearing loads of clothes. They've got loads of accessories. But then you've got this Sable who's wearing literally nothing at all. Like, she is not ready for space. I have never seen an astronaut look like that ever. Like, she is not going to survive. The whole thing was madness. Dude, there's no way you beat that. There is no way you beat those Stomp figures.
Do you know what, Daze? You nearly had me. You were that close. You were that close to having me. While I was watching that, I thought, he's got me. I'm done for. I'm finished. He's pulled out Stomp. I mean, they're so weird. Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins have even made an entire music video dedicated to how bad these figures were and how weird they were. They've got a renaissance almost, these figures are so weird. And do you know how I know how weird they are? Look, I've even got them. I don't know why I've got them, but I've got them. They are the weirdest things I have ever seen. Almost the weirdest things I have ever seen, because do you know what? I was saving this one and I'm pulling it out. This is iconic amongst weird wrestling figures. This one is almost verging on urban legend. I've got to pull it out. I've got to just do it. War Tony. That's right, War Tony. A WWE Jim Ross figure with War Tony. It should have War Zone printed on it, but somebody at the factory called Tony, this is as far as urban legend goes, printed his own name on the back instead of War Zone. This one is rare, it's hard to get. There's two versions of it. There's War Tony, there's War Zone. I mean, this is beyond weird. It's now fallen into the category of straight up conspiracy. And I love a conspiracy, as everybody knows. But this one has got to be the weirdest wrestling figure I think I've ever seen as a single figure.
Is it just me or is it hot in here? Because I am nervous. I've got one last shot here to get your votes. Okay, I am going to finish up with WCW Ringmasters. Now, they only made 6 figures here, and these were made just months before WCW went out of business. Don't think these figures are from the 80s or even early 90s. These are around the 2000 mark, and they look like trash. Each figure is actually based on the character or finishing move of the superstar. So Chris Jericho, of course, has got the Lion Tamer. So, of course, he's a Lion Tamer. These are weird, man. You got Bret the Hitman Hart looking like a 1950s gangster. You've got Goldberg as a construction worker because, of course, his finishing move was the jackhammer. So you've got Goldberg looking like... I mean, I could understand it if this went on and, like, they made loads of them. But as we said, this was just a few months before WCW finished. This was never going to be a long-term project. This looks like one series and done. And I don't get how you play with them. Are people really going to want to take the 50s gangster Bret Hart and fight against the construction worker Gold? Maybe they would. Maybe I'm wrong. Hollywood Hogan, obviously, as an actor. As well as that, this is the worst. This is the worst. I think this is Rick Steiner, right? And because he's known as the dog-faced gremlin, they gave him a pet gremlin. Like, they didn't even change him. They just gave him a pet, and they put a little lead on it. It's like, what are you meant to do with that? Take it for walks.
Oh, Daze. Nobody said we were counting WCW. I mean, WCW in the early 2000s, that's probably the weirdest thing that's ever happened in wrestling, period, let alone just the merchandise and the action figures. But since I know we're now playing by WCW rules, I've got it. I know how I'm ending this one. I'm putting this one to bed. Good night, It's finished. It's over. Look what I've got. WCW Gross Out Wrestlers. Now these have got to be by far the weirdest wrestling figures of all time, bar none. I mean, look at this thing. I would describe this to you, but I wouldn't even know where to begin. What even is that? What is that?
What is that?
I mean, it's almost like a collaboration of all of the weird figures we've already talked about today. I mean, it looks like part zombie, it looks like part mutant, it looks like it could be one of those Bend-'em figures from back in the day. It could be like a mixture of all of the weirdest and worst wrestling figures in the history of the game. And there it is. I've got to say, Daze, that one may very well have taken the top spot. What do you think of that one?
Andy, that was insane. You absolutely pushed me to my figure limit. And yes, there is such a thing as a figure limit. And I was pushed right to it. I don't know who's won this. I feel like I might have taken the L here, but that is absolutely fine. Nothing but love and respect to Andy from Wrestle with Andy. Check out Andy's YouTube channel. And Andy, how about this? I feel like I've lost this, and already I'm saying that the Russians were involved, there was voting rigs, and the whole thing is a conspiracy. So how about we do a rematch on your channel? How about we do the top 10 cringiest moments? You bring 5, I'll bring 5, and I'll see you there.
Daze, I think we're going to have to call that one a draw. Those were by far the weirdest wrestling figures of all time. And you know what? I accept your challenge for my channel to do the 10 cringiest moments. But I know you know all about your cringy wrestling moments and you're the expert here. So I'm going to have to make sure I come loaded with 5 crazy cringy moments. I'm looking forward to it, Daze, and thanks for this video. I had an awesome time, although it was terrifying at times. It was definitely a lot of fun, so thanks again, Daze.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you to Wrestle with Andy for all of his help. You can see us over there doing the top 10 cringiest moments very, very soon. Watch this space, and hopefully I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.